because people never remember anything about comics, certainly not our names or anything like that. And the nurse, I had 2 nurses assisting my vasectomy. They were like beautiful. Just one was a blonde and one was a redhead, and they were unbelievably hot. And my buddies are like, "Did you chub up?" I was like, "Really? Because if you could pop one right before you cut into it, you're a man." Yeah, that is not happening. Mine was terrified. He wouldn't speak to me for a week after I made the approach. It was like, "Nice try, Judas." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, it's for both of us." But so I'm sitting there, and they, like I said, they were like in their like 24, 25, and beautiful. They still had that new car smell. I was like, and I'm sitting there trying not to make eye contact, and one of them says, "Oh my gosh, you're a comedian." And I was like, "You recognize me from my balls? Like how drunk was I at that show? Like tequila." And so I'm sitting there, and right about the time it got awkward, the doctor comes in with that needle that I'd been worried about the whole time. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Now you're gonna feel a little pinch," which is doctor talk for "I'm fixing to poke you in the nuts." And then he did, and it hurt. I'm doing like Lamaze breathing. I'm like, trying to power through all this stuff, and then he gets in there, and I'm like, and he finally gets it to where I'm like, "Oh, cool, that's a painkiller. That stuff is going to start kicking in." And he's like, boom, he did it again, right on the other side. Like, no warning, no bite down on this belt, nothing. And that hurt. It really hurt a lot. And I started sweating, and the doctor said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he goes, "Because you just got really pale." And I was like, and he goes, "Listen, hold on, we don't want you to pass out, we want to help you." And I thought, oh yes, I would hate to pass out. I would hate to drift off quietly into a dream and miss any of the cutting or the burning. Oh yes, thank you. Please, I want a very visual thanks for that. And this is what he did to help me, and I'm not making this up. He grabbed my one leg out of the stirrups, and he put it up on his shoulder right there. And then he grabbed my other leg out of the stirrups, put it up on his other shoulder right there. That wasn't in the fucking brochure. Like, I read your stupid brochure. Like, even if you'd had stick figures, I'd have had a question or two. And he goes, "There, do you feel any different?" I'm like, "Yeah, different for sure. Better? I don't know. I'm not too sure." And I'm a comic. All I ever think about all day long are jokes. And I know all the old street jokes. And I swear to you, at this exact moment, this very vulnerable moment in my life, the first thing that popped into my head was the old street joke about the woman who goes in for the breast exam, and the doctor says, "You're going to need a little numbing." A numbing. That's a great joke. That's not what you want going through your brain at that exact moment while you have your legs over your shoulders. That's the last thing you want going through your brain at that exact moment. I was like, "Could you just put my feet in the stirrups so I can feel like a man again? Thanks, that'll be great." So I'm sitting there, and it was getting weird and awkward, but then, before I knew it was over, and my brother was right, it wasn't that big a deal. I was sore for a couple of days, but it was fully functional in a week. It's not that big a deal. If you guys are on the fence about it, it's really not that big a deal. You probably won't get the same doctor. But I want you to know that you're not done. You do, you have to go back and get it checked out, because sometimes they screw it up. And my brother, for all the smack he talked, they screwed his up. Yeah, because he got his before I got mine, and his wife just had another baby. Yeah, and his new baby's Chinese. Yeah. I don't know what they cut down there, but this one doesn't look a thing like me. This is a little, My sister-in-law hates that joke. I want to tell it on TV. I'm going to name her by name. I have children and marriage and a lot of other stuff. But I'm at that point now where I'm, divorced. Yeah, I'm glad that's over. Good to get that first one out of the way. But I'm dating again, which is like really awkward because I hadn't dated in a very long time, and some of the things are different. Like when they go, when I started dating, it was when they were like, "Hey, what's your sign?" Which sucked because I was born in July, so it's like Cancer. Like, "Oh, I'm Cancer. Oh, my dad died from cancer. Oh, that's terrible. That's crazy." What's your symbol? Oh, it's crabs. Crabs. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Crabs. Thanks. I got the venereal disease sign. That's great. Crabs. October is syphilis. What? That is terrible. February spina bifida. No, that's terrible. I guess it'd be sickle cell. It's an astrological joke for you. But no, but I did have dating now, and here's a weird thing about dating, is all the little weird protocols, you know? Like, the best part about dating is when you meet that person and the first time they look at you and they mean it and they say, I love you. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that like the greatest moment? Love that. But what if it's too soon? What, have you ever had this? It's like your second date, something happens, they just look at you right in the face, and they go, I love you. And you're like, oh. And that's really awkward, and there's no protocol, there's nothing you can do for that. There, you know, there's no rules. Like, you can't just roll up a newspaper and hit her on the nose like, no. Bad. Go on, go outside. Go. You know what you, go on, go outside. Dating is awesome and dating is horrible, but I think it's easier for women, you know, with dating and keeping their relationships fresh, because you guys have Cosmo. Have you seen this? These are real. I'm not making this. Cosmo was like the, you know, compendium for women so they know what to do. These are like real articles from Cosmo. I'm not even making this up. 101 tricks to use in bed. 101. If you're married, that's like 10 years worth. Like, who keeps a magazine for 10 years? That's ridiculous. Just how to light a fire in your mattress. I was like, is that even good? That sounds terrifying. And that was one. This is true. It said how to do that thing with your tongue that'll make your man forget his name. I was like, wow, that's thinly veiled. Okay, sure. Like, you know, there's like a men's health magazine that, you know, addresses those issues. I mean, we have like Men's Health, but the guys who are reading that aren't doing it for the chicks. Have you seen that magazine? It's a bunch of shirtless, oiled up guys like how to get bigger pecs, how to get washboard abs, how to do that thing with your tongue that'll make your man forget. It's like, hey, wait a second. I was just reading about sit-ups. Oh, yeah, your diagram is awful. That is, wow, okay. And then real men's magazines are no help, like Playboy or Maxim, you know. That's all about the chase. We don't know what to do with you once we catch you. We were glad you let us do it once. We never thought it'd get boring. They have articles like, helping her drink you handsome. Knots she can't untie. Morality questions like, she passed out with her eyes open. Is that consent? These are things men need to know. I saw one, how to spot a Wonder Bra. Which you wouldn't think it'd be very important, but ladies, it is. It's very deceitful, the Wonder Bra. How many guys have been tricked out of about 8 Jaeger bombs by a Wonder Bra? You get her home, it's like the 3-card Monty of boobies, like, where the boobies go. Tricked again, curse you, Wonder Bras, kid. No, but I like doing comedy. You can talk about the stuff that, you know, kind of weirds you out, kind of bothers you. It's a good release for that, you know. Like I used to work for GM. Well, like a lot of people, I used to work for GM, I guess, but that's a trend now. But I worked with the wacky foreign guy. Does anybody here work with the wacky foreign guy? You guys even allow foreign guys up here? You know? I did. I worked with a weird. This is a true story. I worked with a guy from Tajikistan. And he was really weird because he would always say something really derogatory about the United States for no reason. This is true. He would just walk into a room and go, America is very soft on crime. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yes, in my back home, if you're caught stealing, they take you to the city square and they stone you to death. I was like, wow, that would suck. And he's like, yeah. I go, because you guys don't know how to throw a ball. Think about it, you're not being stoned to death in America or Puerto Rico where baseball's a national pastime. This is Tajikistan, that could take all day. You're like, woo! At some point you'd have to, you know, just accept your fate and be like, oh, come on! You're not even trying. Roll your shoulder when you... You have to taunt him like, we need a pitcher, not a cameliture. Ahmed's got a rubber arm, you know. How ironic would it be if he got caught stealing the Snickers, not going anywhere for a while? The stupidest joke of the night, I promise you. That is the dumbest joke of the night. I like to do a comedy to talk about all the crazy stuff. I saw one of the craziest things ever. You can Google it, and it's fantastic. Does anybody here know who Coco, the sign language monkey, is? Oh, okay. If you don't know, there's like a 600-pound gorilla in California that could say like 800 words in sign language. I'm not kidding you. 800 words, with like 400 more than the average public school graduate.